guys, it's Friday already. We're at the end of week 2. Are you ready to find out what that third kind of connection is? All right, well, you're going to have to work a little bit for this one. I'm not just going to tell you what it is. So we've learned that there are 2 types of connections so far. Text to self, that's where the book you're reading reminds you of something in your brain that's happened in your life. Text to text, that's where the book you're reading reminds you of another book you've read. So yesterday we looked at how Arthur's baby reminded us of Julia's baby of the world. Today we're going to read a book. Now I know my kids, we read this in morning meeting last week. So you know what the book's about, but you're going to get to see the types of connections that I'm making. But we're going to read this book called What Are Germs? And as we're reading today, I'm going to stop and show you the connections I make when I read this book. And then we're going to figure out if they're text to self connections, text to text, or if they're mystery connections. All right? So we're going to look at what kind of connections. So this book is an Usborne Books and More book. It is part of the Lift the Flap very first questions and answers, and it's called What Are Germs? Let's see if we come over here again, that light. What are germs? Tiny living things. Germs are so tiny you can't see them unless you zoom in really close with them with a machine called a microscope. They can make you sick if they get inside of you. But what are germs? They are the flu, colds, and viruses. Oh, when I hear that word virus, this reminds me of the coronavirus. So, is that something that I have? Nope. Is it something that I read in another book? Nope. So it's going to go in my mystery category. All right, let's keep reading. So this little guy has the flu, she has the chicken pox, he has a cold, and they're bacterias like the tummy bug and infections. Where do germs live? They live everywhere. They live on your hands, on the toilet. So wash your hands and keep the toilet clean too. This reminds me of how I have to clean the toilet at my house all the time to keep it clean. So what do you think? What kind of connection is that? Is it a connection to myself, a connection to another book, or something different? Right. It's a connection to me. So me keeping the toilet clean is going to go under here. That's a text to self connection. All right, let's keep reading. They're on the street and on your shoe. They're on me and on you. They're on plants and animals too. We like soil and we like poop. There are more than you think in the kitchen sink. One germ quickly turns into many. 1 splits into 2. 2 splits into 4. 4 splits into 8, and so on until there are millions of them. Oh, this is still reminding me of that coronavirus. How do germs spread? Through cuts? Don't touch a cut. Clean it and put an adhesive bandage on it. They spread on hands. So don't put dirty fingers in your mouth. Wash your hands. They spread on animals. Flies carry germs. Shoo! And so do pets. They spread through the air. Achoo! So cover your mouth when you sneeze or cough. Achoo! Achoo! Trap your germs and throw them away. Then wash your hands. Well, guess what? This one person sneezed, and then the next one and the next one. This reminds me of a book we read called When Your Elephant Gets the Sniffles. In the beginning of the book, the elephant had the sniffles, but by the end, because he had been sneezing a lot on the little girl, she got the sniffles too. So this reminds me of When the Elephant Got the Sniffles. So shout out, what kind of connection is this? Right, it's a connection to another book. That's text to text. Let's keep reading. Can my body fight germs? Yes. We can't get in. Your skin keeps us out. If you get a cut, your blood makes a scab to cover it. Keep out. Grr. That reminds me of a time I fell down and got a scab, and I fell off my bike and I scraped my knee and a scab grew over it. That's because my body was protecting me. So what kind of text is this when I fell off my bike? Right, that's a text to self. That happened in my life. They can get in your eyes or mouth, so your tears help wash them out. They get in your nose and get trapped in your nose hair. If germs reach your tummy juices kill most of them. And if they get in your blood, your white blood cells gobble them up and attack them. How do medicines help? Some teach your body how to fight germs, like vaccines. You'll need to make weapons. Others fight germs for you. Oh, look at this mom. She's taken her son to get an antibiotic. And it says, I can't kill colds or other viruses, only pesky bacteria. So the medicine's coming in. Oh, and look at that mom taking care of her son. She must love him a lot. And you know what? That reminds me of how much Koala Lou's mom loved her. She kept telling her over and over, Koala Lou, oh, how I love you. So what kind of connection is this? Right, it's a text to text. This book is reminding me of another book I read about a mom who loved their child. Medicines come from unusual places. They come from plants. They come from animals. Here's some ants making medicine. And they come from mold. So here's some mold. It can kill bacteria. How can I stop germs? You can keep surfaces clean. Wash your hands with soap and water after using the toilet, before eating or making food, after sneezing and coughing, after touching pets and cleaning up poop. Hey, this reminds me of something I saw on the TV. The governor was talking the other day about all of the things we can do to help make sure we don't get coronavirus. He was telling us to stay at home, to wear a mask if we go out, to wash our hands. So this reminds me of what the governor was telling us we should do. So it's not about me. I wasn't telling what to do. It's not from another book. So that's a mystery one. Clean up after your pet. Watch out! Look, he almost stepped in that dog's poo. Take the right medicine. You could become a scientist. You could help stop germs by making sure you wash and clean your food and put it where it goes. And by catching them and then throwing them away. And of course, after that, wash your hands. So this book had all kinds of connections. I bet there were even more that you had that I didn't say. So let's think for a second. These connections about keeping my toilet clean and falling off my bike and getting a scab, those were connections to me. So those were text to self. The second kind were ones that reminded me of other books we read. First, when they kept saying, achoo, 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 that reminded me of Elephant Has the Sniffles. The second one, where we saw the mom loving on her little boy, that reminded me of Koala Lou. So let's look at these. We don't know what kind of connections these are, but one reminds me of the coronavirus, and the other one reminds me of what I heard the governor say on TV. Where is the coronavirus and where is the governor? Ooh, I heard a lot of good answers. You know what? They are all things that are out in our world. So I have a picture here to show they're out in our world. So the third kind of connection is text to world. So we can make connections to things that happen with us, things that happen in other books, and things that happen around us out in the world. So all of those things help. That's why I picked this book to read to my kids in morning meeting last week, because I wanted them to be able to know why we couldn't be at school and what those germs were in the coronavirus. So I thought of what was going on in the world, and I picked a book that could help us make connections and understand. So what you're going to do today is in your packet, you have this text to world connection sheet. So what I would like you to do is you can either use the germ book we just read, or you could pick another book you have. Again, just like you've done the last 2 days, draw a picture or write the words that tell how you feel or what you're reading in your current book. And then in the bottom, tell how that reminds you of something in the world. You do not need to turn this one in today, but we do want you to practice making connections because next week you will have your assessment over that. But for reading today, you do have something to turn in. You're going to read this passage called Butterfly or Moth. So there's some pictures here and then the passages here, just like last week. If you need an adult or an older sibling to help you read it, that's okay. Then we want you to work on answering these questions. So you have questions 1 through 3. You will need to submit these under page 1 for Butterfly and Moth. And then questions 4, 5, and 6, you will need to submit these under that. So there's a camera on both of these pages because you need to submit both pages to your teacher. If you have any questions, you can hop on the office hours and ask one of us or send your teacher a message. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a great weekend and I can't wait to come to you next week. We're going to wrap up connections and start talking about a brand new topic point of view. Have a great weekend, guys. See you later.